These AI videos are just getting too realistic, especially with good old Hill Dog here.
You bribe the guards, you turn off the cameras, and then you choke him to death. Will you be choking Puff Daddy this time around?
Right.
So how are you planning on doing it?
She's going to be a very busy lady, as of course Diddy is off, as now we have to set our attention to the story of the decade that a lot of very prominent, powerful people just want to go away. And in essence, it kind of has here, and that's why I wanted to talk about the latest revelations surrounding the Giuffre Epstein saga, as we got new details into what just happened to Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Now, this is a very important case. She's a very important person in this entire matter, and the FBI failed in more ways than one, as there are now new questions regarding what in the world are you doing? Where's the updates? As there's even a lawsuit right now against some very big banking players related to this that we're going to be talking about in this particular video. And if you appreciate our reporting here for 15 plus years on the Giuffre Epstein saga, because we've been calling it out for a very long time, subscribe, click the notification button. We always appreciate your time, and we want to make sure that we fill it with as much value as possible. All of this, as of course, we have this crazy update and this crazy wild photo that is very perplexing. Again, I have more questions than answers here, as we just got new information from Virginia Roberts' family. Now, they have just released more details about the note that she left after she met her demise, as there are still some individuals that do believe that she was potentially taken out. Now, we just got more details about this letter, but also photos that I think, for me personally, bring up more questions about this entire matter here, as it looks like a lot of the guilt is specifically being presented against the husband here. Now, Virginia Giuffre, she's the woman. And again, this photo matches up with this photo pretty wildly, in a way where there's a lot of inconsistencies there. Okay? And as soon as this story broke, as soon as it came out that Virginia Giuffre was in a car accident a couple weeks ago, we told and everyone here, and we specifically got the message out, hey, if you are the FBI, right, and you're trying to find out what's going on here, with Virginia Giuffre announcing that she only has a few days left of life, whether it's true or not, go over there, investigate, interview her immediately. And they haven't done that. And then a couple days later, we found out that she took her own existence, allegedly. Now, what really happened here, no one really knows. Now we're getting a little bit more of an insight from the family members, as, of course, the Times is reporting in this article that's titled, "What Really Happened to Virginia Giuffre? She took on Epstein, Prince Andrew, then died by self-harm in April. For the first time, her family shares diary entries, private messages, and photos that reveal her secret battle with her husband." And again, it all started with this photo. Now, the work that Virginia has done, specifically speaking out against this, was extremely brave, because she did this in the face of the FBI, federal prosecutors, judges, politicians, all looking the other way. And then when presented with information, even from small children, as the FBI was in the 1990s, said, yeah, kid, get out of here. We don't care that there's this huge money guy hurting small children in unspeakable, horrible, monstrous ways. She spoke up against the grain. She did a lot of mainstream media interviews. A lot of those mainstream media interviews were, of course, punted and weren't ever released. She was going up against very strong people with very important intelligence agency ties here, as, of course, every step of the way, from local law enforcement to federal enforcement, the police officers here literally allowed thousands of children to get hurt here. That's how the state works. That's how the state operated. And, of course, this was a large extortion operation that she spoke out about, and she blew the whistle on with very grave dangers. As of course, she came out and talked about how she was a victim when she was a child. And then when people are victims as children to a lot of these type of predators out there, we have to understand here that when this particularly happens, that it creates a situation where mental health, there's a severe cost to it. I'm trying to be as generous as I can here, because there are a lot of significant problems that people who are hurt and abused as children usually have to face and deal with. Now, when you look at this kind of exclusive Time article here, a lot of this kind of burden, a lot of this new information is just specifically on this husband guy here. Now, is he really the one that's kind of responsible for all of this? Again, I have my doubts here, mainly because of how just everything is unfolding here. Now, we have a note here from Virginia Giuffre talking about how on the surface, everything looked okay. However, underneath, this picture-perfect facade started showing tensions unseen began to. And again, listen, before giving you the full perspective and what Pam Bondi is doing in this new lawsuit, before talking about that and a lot more, we wanted to remind you to sign up to lookunfiltered.com to support our work here. I want to do more crazy stuff like, going on the island and reporting on the ground, but I need your help and I need your assistance to do that. The best way to do that is to sign up to lookunfiltered.com, and in exchange for that, you get incredible offers of value. Click the link down in the description below. Sign up for whatever you could afford. We greatly appreciate your generosity, your help, your support. It is needed now more than ever. Our gas tank is on empty after a major battle with the IRS last year. We're finally getting back on our feet, and I want to do some really fun, exciting stuff, and I can only do it with you. We are doing an in real life meetup just for members, July 9th in Milwaukee, and then we are doing another one July 13th here in South Florida. We are doing a range day, 10 spots. I got to ask my guy, if my guy's watching, tell me how many people we have signed up. You guys sign up for this class. We take a fun class together. It's really exciting. It's really awesome. And it's really next level type of stuff here that I cannot recommend enough here. Plus, you get access to me one-on-one. You get to talk to me. Right now, I am in the members chat. We're talking about the Nancy Mace video. Oh, boy. Now, that is new levels of cringe that I didn't know was possible here. But if you want to join those conversations and be a part of this independent media organization, sign up to lookunfiltered.com. As, of course, your support is greatly, greatly appreciated, as, talking about these type of very controversial issues has a very high price that we usually have to pay for when it comes to, of course, being demonetized and censored. So your support needed now more than ever, as I think the life of Virginia Giuffre matters. Her story matters. And I think it's important to get the full, accurate story here, as so many people have been not able to do that. Now, again, from the very beginning, I said something's up here. Something's weird here. Something is not right, especially when it came to the kind of reporting of her car accident that led her to make this post with this photo of herself that clearly looks very photoshopped here. If you look at these type of bruisings, they are not consistent of one with a car accident. They look photoshopped here. Now you look at this other photo that was just released by the family here, and once again, we are seeing a lot of inconsistencies here with how she looks like. As again, a lot of this stuff here looks just photoshopped. Let's just be honest with ourselves. Let's just be real with ourselves here. As clearly, we were not getting the full story of what was going on here. The story hasn't been adding up here. As of course, now we have more documents, as she wrote in her diary that her husband, Robert, was, quote, violent, jealous, and gambling away her settlement money. As photos from January showed her hospitalized with facial injuries. In April, she posted about a car crash days before she decided to take her own existence. Her brother found her unresponsive weeks later. Giuffre's journal blamed Robert's control and resentment for her deteriorating condition. Now, clearly, she had bad mental health. Obviously, anyone would. Her family believes her final Instagram post was a cry for help, which would explain the inconsistencies here in the version of events of what she described. And the situation that, of course, was so bewildering to everyone else here, as a lot of people were saying, what in the world was going on here? As now it's also important to note, Giuffre's father and lawyers are raising some questions here about what in the world was going on here, as, of course, so many inconsistencies. It just doesn't add up. And when it comes to the big conspiracy here that has been unfolding for such a long time, it's very easy to just jump to the conclusion that, oh, yeah, the government probably was involved here in one way or another. As, of course, getting rid of Giuffre, right, as the FBI is legitimizing everything, going through everything again, looking at all the documents, going to be releasing the documents. The one person that could connect the dots on the documents that would be revealed, on the connections, the times, the dates, the circumstances, the events that unfolded, would have been Virginia Giuffre. And now she's gone. There was another Epstein accuser that also met their end that I think is worth talking about here, as a lot of people are seeing this as a big kind of signal against the witnesses, the whistleblowers, as the FBI here, let's be honest here, is dropping the ball. Okay? They're not doing the best of job here, especially when it comes to their communication, especially when it comes to transparency, especially when it comes to accountability so far. They have failed in almost every aspect of it, especially when it comes to the kind of weird PR stunt, when it comes to contradicting each other. As again, we have Pam Bondi contradicting Cash Patel and Dan Bongino contradicting Pam Bondi. They're telling us there was tapes. Now they're telling us there weren't tapes. They're telling us they're going to release a video. They haven't released a video. They're not giving us a timeline. They're saying we have thousands of videos here. Okay here, but that doesn't mean you can't criminally prosecute and go after some of the big criminals here that are clearly involved here in being predators against children that are still hurting children. As we have to understand here, this is a case where there are predators still very powerful, very rich, above the law, billionaire predators out there. A lot of them named Bill, that are still out there hurting small children. Okay? That's what you got to hone in here. And the FBI playing loose with the facts here. Pam Bondi doing that little PR stunt. This kind of weird, unforeseen, unknown type of circumstance surrounding all of this is a situation where it's making you wonder what in the world's going on here, therefore adding more reason to believe in a conspiracy here about what actually happened to Virginia Giuffre. As again, her lawyer, her father have a lot of serious questions, have a lot of serious doubts about what was going on here. As her family says that Virginia, this is her other family, her father and her lawyer believe otherwise, but her family says, yeah, she decided to take her own life. The lawyer, of course, isn't convinced, saying that there's big question marks and there was no warning signs. Just weeks earlier, Giuffre posted that she was badly injured after a bus crash. And again, that bus crash made no sense. The bus driver was like, yeah, it was nothing serious. Now, there's reports of her looking forward to renovating her home, as it's been 6 years since Epstein allegedly met his demise. Now, I say allegedly, because, listen, that story in itself is a big kind of what the hell's going on here, as the FBI now has been trying to, for some reason, and again, this is the obfuscation effort, in my opinion, instead of saying, okay, these are the criminals, these are the customers, these are the people responsible for all of this, which we know are there from the court proceeding documents that were made secret. But when we look at this entire kind of scenario and this entire type of situation, we have to realize here that the burden of proof is on the government, and the government is saying, we're not going to give you any of that. We're going to now rehash the debate whether Epstein was offed or not. We're going to tell you the government's official version, which is crazy, which is filled with a lot of circumstantial guesstimations. We're going to tell you that that story's correct based off no evidence at all. We have the evidence. We're going to alter it, but then we're also going to give you the real stuff. But then you haven't gotten anything. what's going on here. I think the notice was given top down from someone in high positions of power, whether Donald Trump or someone above him, saying, listen, we got this whole Iran war thing. We got our greatest ally over here. You know, we got to say that the Iranians were trying to take us out. So let's not release any information about the attempted assassination just for now. Let's not release any information with Epstein, who, of course, was connected to the former prime minister of Israel, Edmund Barak, who, of course, was hanging out with him. Let's not release any of that. We're not going to say anything. And then Dan Bongino and Kash Patel are kind of stuck here, being like, holy cow, we have to cover it up for the big man or someone above the big man who's telling us, hey, make this a whole big mess here. Destroy your reputations. And in a way, listen, there's an argument to be made that they had here, which is so disappointing, which is so sad here. Now, Virginia Giuffre in 2019 says that she would never take her own life. And now we're told that she did here. Now, her note here is weird because, again, she had children, okay? Now, whether this husband was someone who made her a prisoner, according to this note, or is beating her up here, whatever that situation might be here, it's important to understand here that in every way the authorities failed here. As right now we have this article by the Associated Press that was released about a few hours ago, actually, saying mystery surrounds Jeffrey Epstein files after Bondi claims tens of thousands of videos. As they're raising the questions here, what's going on? Again, we were told, and there was a Project Veritas video that had her talking in a restaurant saying there's thousands of videos. Project Veritas was then about to release the video. She came out in a special press conference with Kash Patel saying, I saw thousands of videos. Okay. Tens of thousands of videos of wealthy financer with children and with content with small children on them in adult kind of nasty nature. Now, again, as the AP kind of asks here, what's going on here? What is there a timeline? Can we get any kind of legitimate answers here? And they write how the Associated Press spoke with lawyers and law enforcement officials in the criminal case of Epstein, who said that they haven't seen and didn't know of a trove of recordings like what Bondi described. Indictments and detention memos do not reference the existence of videos with Epstein and allegedly small children, and neither was charged with possession of adult material. Now, one thing that I find interesting here is that there are a lot of court filings that were shrouded in secrecy, as lawyers involved in this case, especially in some civil cases, had protection orders preventing particular documents and evidence from ever being discussed. Now, the FBI should have all of that. I don't know if they do. We don't know what they have here. As now, we have to understand here, the story has changed so much here. First, they told us, oh yeah, Epstein totally took his own life here, but there's no videotapes of it. Then Bill Barr came out and said, I saw the tape. He absolutely did. Then the government came out and said, no, there weren't no tapes. Now they're telling us there were tapes. We're going to enhance them, and then we're going to release them. And then they didn't release them. Now, when it comes to these particular tapes that the Associated Press is asking questions about, we have to understand here that the official story is FBI raids some of the compounds. Now, the FBI failed here because there were so many other compounds. They never went to the New Mexico property. The New Mexico property, you had to fly in on a helicopter to get into, by the way. You couldn't even drive into middle of nowhere. And that's where Epstein had his eugenics operation ongoing, where he tried to impregnate 30 women at one particular time. Okay? That would be a place. Spark some interest there. Go over there. Let's go investigate. Let's go. Come on. Nope. We didn't get any of that. No investigations there. But the FBI did go to the New York City penthouse and to the island. I went to the island too. When they went to the island, they're like, oh, we got the tapes. And when they went to New York City, we got the tapes. Then the official version of events kind of came out and they said, oh, actually someone stole the tapes. We don't know what the tapes are. And then there were missing tapes. Where were the missing tapes? And now allegedly Pam Bondi has the missing tapes. But we haven't seen or heard anything about it, as it looks like the FBI is doing a lot of different things. And a lot of the things that they're doing have nothing to do with this particular case, which I would say is of absolute critical importance. And this is a case that we have to understand. A lot of the big top players there are actively engaged against sabotaging Donald Trump. A lot of the big players actively were, of course, supporting Kamala Harris, predominantly because they thought Donald Trump was going to release the tapes. That's what we were promised. Kash Patel promised that. We have not gotten the tapes yet. And then now it's a moot point. And I don't think it should be a moot point. I think it should be a big point. And if you agree with that, share this video with your friends and family members. It is more important than ever. Again, this is a crazy take here, but this story deserves our attention. The more of us that talk about it, the more of us that actually make this a major pressure valve issue, the more likely that we could actually get justice for the thousands of children, and the more likely that thousands of children won't continue to get hurt here. That's the big case here. That's why it's important. Thank you again so much for your support and our efforts here on independent media. I wouldn't be here if it wasn't for you guys doing that, and this is why I love you guys. Stay tuned for more, all here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.